He Top Gun in the Cruiserweight Championship, or was he dead in the water like Goose?
Oh, Jerry. Too soon, man. We're cruising towards your house. We're cruising towards NXT TakeOver. This is NXT. Enough of that. Welcome everybody to What's NXT for June 3rd.
Yep,
2020. 2020. I'm your host, the Rated R Reviewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good morning, fuckface.
I think we're a little low here. Let's bring this down.
Yes, we are a little low.
Bring this down a little bit. Okay, well, folks, this was a hell of a fucking show.
This was a go-home show.
I was kind of expecting, like, a couple of matches. Like, we knew 2 matches going in, and then the rest of it just to be filler. These, what do they call them, prime targets that we got for the 2 championship matches, Adam Cole versus Dream, and Charlotte defending against Ripley and Io Shirai. But this show was so much more. This first segment took up, like, 30 or 40 minutes. Well into the first hour. We start the show with Candice LeRae coming out to face Mia Yim. This is the grudge match. We knew this was coming.
Good thing it's coming this soon, though. I thought we were gonna get
Right?
I thought we were gonna get LeRae versus Knox before this.
But, well, we knew this was coming this week. They said last week that we were going to have this match. So anyway, nice little match here. What'd you think?
It's pretty much what I thought it was going to be. It wasn't exactly a technical bout. It was just them scrapping. I'm loving LeRae's new character. This whole new heel turn is actually bringing a little bit of life to her, because for a while there, they weren't doing anything with her. That's just a damn shame.
Yeah, this was just a short little scrap. I've got one note here where it was, because it was cool looking. Candice LeRae actually kind of chokes Mia Yim over the top rope. She's out on the apron, and she's got her in kind of this almost a stunner type guillotine. But then Mia Yim powers up out of it and then gets her in a full Nelson and drags her over the top rope. That was fun.
How sick would it have been if she pulled the dragon suplex?
I know, over the top rope. That would have been great, but that didn't happen.
No, it didn't. Mia Yim's just not that cool.
In any case, this battle ended up outside, and they fought all around the ring. Ref does the full 10 count. This is a double count out. Meanwhile, over, like, on the apron, LeRae counters a power bomb, and not the apron, the ramp.
Yep.
They're at the top, and she, Rey Mysterio style, slings Mia Yim face first into the LED board, and then just starts
color bars and everything.
Yeah,
just to show that it broke.
She starts to beat up on her, and then who is it? Tegan Knox comes out to pull her off.
Yep.
And
she doesn't even start to hit her or anything. She just tries to back her away. It's like, what are you doing?
And while she's turned around, behind her, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez come out.
Kaya!
Raquel attacks her. Kai attacks Mia Yim. But Kai gets thwarted by Shotzi Blackheart, who comes out and attacks her. And
completely yeets her.
She just throws her off the stage. Granted, it's only a couple of feet, but yeah, she throws her off the stage. And then this breaks down, and eventually the referees come out. And they start breaking everybody up, and they separate them only for was it Mia Yim to attack? Mia Yim attacks what's her name? Candice LeRae.
Yeah.
But then Johnny Gargano comes out, and he gets the ref off of Candice LeRae. So then Candice LeRae attacks Mia Yim up towards the ring. And then this brings out Keith Lee.
In pink shoes.
To come out and pick Mia Yim up. He chases LeRae and Johnny Gargano into the ring. And then him and Mia get in the ring and chase them off. And then word comes from William Regal. This is now, I thought this was going to break down to a 6-woman tag match. No, this is broken down into a mixed tag match. Gargano and LeRae versus Lee and Yim. And that is literally what we go right into.
Mm-hmm.
New match, new settings. What do you think about this match, Jerry?
Didn't really care for it. I think it would have been better if there was like more build and they were actually dressed to wrestle. But like this, it felt like it was kind of sloppy and just thrown together just to kind of get it out of the way, and just build more towards the Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano match.
And maybe another match down the road between LeRae and Yim.
Yeah.
In this case, the match goes to start, and Johnny and Candice go to leave because Johnny says he's not even dressed to wrestle. I'm like, you're not dressed to wrestle. Keith Lee's got pink shoes on.
Was it Tom Phillips that said like that Johnny Gargano was wearing baby cap jeans?
Well, Lee pink shoes or not, chases them down, grabs Johnny up on the stage, picks him up in a gorilla press, and starts carrying him to the ring.
Candice LeRae
jumps on his back, monkey style. And he doesn't even shrug it off. He just keeps walking to the ring, throws Johnny in, gets up onto the apron, shrugs off Candice LeRae, where Mia Yim's right behind her. So they start fighting. We see at one point Mia Yim goes to tag Keith Lee, and I guess Candice LeRae's desperate to keep Johnny out of the ring. So she's trying to keep Mia Yim from tagging in. Instead, let's see. Instead, Yim picks her up, deadlifts her into a dragon suplex. Goes for the pin, doesn't get the pin. Let's see. Gargano breaks the pinfall up with a leg sweep on Mia Yim. This brings in Keith Lee, who just beats 3 shades of gray out of Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes for a spirit bomb, though. And while he's in the air, Johnny Gargano had fished his keys out of his pocket, and he stabs Lee in the eye with the keys, like he gouges his eyes.
I got a feeling that's going to be the key to success of Gargano winning the belt on Sunday.
Good, easy pun, Jerry.
Yes. I am not above them right now. I am super tired.
So, ref goes to check on Lee. Mia Yim goes to check on Lee. While she's checking on Lee, Candice LeRae gets the fruit roll-up. 1, 2, 3. Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae win the match, and they get the fuck out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Keith Lee is pissed. He crawls over to the ropes and he's staring down Johnny Gargano as they're backing up the ramp. And
he slips.
He slips. His arm slips off the ropes and lands in between the ring post and the ring steps. And
Gargano automatically takes notice here.
Yeah, this isn't set up completely at all.
No.
Anyway, he drop kicks the ring steps and hurts Lee's hand. And he looks super impressed with himself.
I was about to say,
taking that opportunity.
I was about to say, if this was Keith Lee versus Pete Dunne, Keith would be fucked right now. But I don't see how Gargano's going to exploit the hand.
This is not contrived at all, ladies and gentlemen. Keith Lee just happened to slip, and his arm fell. Anyway, this is how we leave this segment. It's fine. Any narrative they want to tell that helps me believe that Keith Lee loses to Johnny Gargano and moves on to either the NXT Championship or to Raw or SmackDown, I'm fine with. Meanwhile, we get a video package for Tommaso Ciampa, who's talking about Karrion Kross. He says Kross picked him to be first, and just so happens this is the one he's going to remember forever. And there is Special, and then there's Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
And he'll see him at, TakeOver.
Currently, we have the Cleaver, Nate Spain, and the Holiday in the chat room. So, morning, guys.
What's up, fellas? Where's Israel?
No idea.
Where you at, Israel? So, yeah. Cool. We have Mackenzie backstage. I think her name's Mackenzie. I don't know. It's the blonde chick. She's backstage attempting an interview with Dexter Lumis. We know this is a futile effort. However, he does find a way to communicate. She asks him who he thinks is going to win the Velveteen Dream versus Adam Cole match for the NXT Championship. And his response is an easel.
Yep.
That is not a metaphor. He drags an easel over, and he's got a bunch of markers. And he turns to the easel, ostensibly blocking it so we can't see it, and starts drawing while she's still attempting to get him to talk.
And this leads right into
commercial or
Prime
something.
Target.
Yeah, Prime Target. Prime Target! No, actually, we've got one more thing here. We've got an interview with Drake Maverick. So we go to commercial, then we come back. And he says, this is the same chick, Mackenzie. They're outside, though. He's like, look, don't ask me how I'm doing. This is the first day in forever that I feel no pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It's over, one way or the other. Either this is the best day of my life or it's the worst day of my life. Either way, by the end of tonight, it's going to be over.
That's a great way of thinking about it and a horrible way of thinking about it.
He says today's a cheat day, man. He's going to go out there and eat a whole bunch of sugar and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You do it, Drake Maverick. You can stand to gain a few pounds. Only you could do that with height.
Which is weird, because he's Rockstar Spud, and we always call Trent Seven the sack of potatoes.
Anyway, if you didn't know, tonight he is facing El Hijo del Fantasma for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship.
In the main event.
After being fired, which means if he doesn't get the title and force them to keep him, this is his last match in the company.
This is pretty much like a 205 Live main event.
So yeah, let's bring the mood down right before Adam Cole versus Velveteen Prime Target.
Ba-ba!
This was actually really cool. Actually, they had new interviews or new promos for both competitors. They had a little bit of story going on. Adam Cole standing there with the championship, hanging out. What's he doing? Fucking getting picked up by a limousine, and guess who's there? Kyle O'Reilly with something growing on his face. The Undisputed Era, all three of them,
horrible hat.
Pick him up in a limo. They're gonna go celebrate 1 year as champions. So this was a couple days ago, and they go out to a restaurant, and he just talks about how great he is, and he wants to celebrate and salute and cheers. He has a toast.
He's like, I love all you guys, but I'm the greatest.
He wants to say what he did was the greatest. He's talking about the Undisputed Era as something that he did, not that all of them did. This is just brilliant.
Colin said it was good to see Kyle O'Reilly. I agree.
Meanwhile,
I miss O'Reilly.
Meanwhile, Velveteen Dream is rollerblading around the Full Sail parking lot.
Because that's what straight men do.
Somewhere in the back, he's on his couch again, surrounded by two babes in his shirts, and he demands his mirror, and he gets the mirror out, and he says into it to himself or to the mirror or whatever, probably to the camera based on the angle, because the camera's catching his face, and I know how angles work. Anyway, I know how reflections work. Anyway, he says to the camera, he says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, like, who is the greatest? Who's going to be the greatest champ of all?" And in the mirror,
Prince answers him.
Prince. Yes, artist formerly known, then renowned, then died as Prince.
Little nod to Minneapolis here.
He says that it will indeed be Velveteen Dream, the Velveteen Dream. And I believe that that's probably going to happen.
You do believe it'll probably happen? I'm
No.
100% sure. Like 50%.
After these character promos, we get a lot of exposition. We get a lot of opinions, a lot of radio hosts, podcast hosts, a few superstars and legends and shit. Just people talking about these two, and some of them even telling who they think is going to win the match.
Even McIntyre throws his stank on it.
Yeah, a lot of that. And they remind us here that Velveteen Dream does not get another shot at the NXT Championship while Adam Cole has it. So it's win or go home.
Here's the thing with this, though. I think it's actually really cool that they interviewed McIntyre, because that kind of puts my plan into effect as well. Because, like, he automatically, like, sided with Velveteen Dream on it. So... Yeah.
You and your great premonitions that never get your points.
You know what it's called? Good writing.
We also get one other piece of news here. This match will be a backlot brawl. They show the venue. It is outside in the parking lot. There is a ring set up, and it is surrounded by cars and trucks and vehicles with their headlights on, all pointed at the ring. So those are the spotlights.
That's going to be the cinematic match.
It's not a cool spotlight, but whatevs. If they do it right with all those lights going, it should be able to be really cool if they pick some nice angles. Anyway, let's move on. Dexter Lumis is done with his drawing. This is a caricature of him driving a truck, and in the back of the truck, like you would see sheep or pigs or chickens, things going to slaughter. Tied up in the back is 3 members of the Undisputed Era: Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly.
With the weird facial hair.
That is not to say Kyle O'Reilly's actually going to be there. Is he actually going to be there?
I think he'll actually be there for this.
So
chances are they filmed all this in the same day.
Are we thinking that they'll try and get involved, but somehow he's going to have like a trap laid?
I think throughout the night they're going to have him like pick off every member of Undisputed Era before the main event.
That would be great. I would prefer to see a giant net, sort of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze style.
That'd work too.
All 3 of them go up at the same time. It says whoosh.
Guys in the chat room, how do you think Dexter Lumis is going to catch the rest of Undisputed Era? Drop your comments. We'll read them in a little bit.
Yeah, how's he going to get involved, folks? Nate Spain said, did y'all hear that Nigel McGuinness was furloughed? Yes, furloughed is one of those words that I like to assume it's not news, really. He's just...
Ooh, tell him your idea. Tell him your idea.
Okay, so Nigel McGuinness should come back, and in the capacity that he is the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper meaning he is the way for certain folks to get into NXT. My idea, since there's not going to be an NXT UK live show in the near future that we know of, take all that talent, people that you've got that you're paying still that have not been furloughed, they have not been laid off, they have not been fired or released.
They're just sitting there not getting paid.
They're just sitting there. If you can get them on a plane and get them to Florida, my idea is NXT UK TakeOver of NXT on USA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's perfect that they're on USA.
Because then you can have your NXT UK TakeOver.
UK versus USA,
that
man.
didn't happen. Like, that way you can have your Walter and your Finn Balor match and everything else.
Yes. So, at NXT TakeOver in your house, during the Finn Balor Damian Priest match, Walter gets involved. At some point on Wednesday after the pay-per-view, Finn Balor comes out to call out Walter, but Walter doesn't come out. And instead, Walter ends up coming out at the end of the show when it's whoever the champ is at the time. We're calling for Velveteen Dream, and it's champ versus champ in the ring, and then that brings out Finn Balor, who's like, "Hey, I got beef with you too." Finn Balor brings out somebody else, and you think, "Oh, this is just going to be 1-for-1." But by the end of it, all of NXT UK has either surrounded the ring or started bringing out folks that they attacked in the back, just dragging them out.
Yep.
And showing that they have completely taken over NXT, and this is going to lead us into the next era, towards the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Something like that. If I had more time, you kind of put me on the spot.
Well, Nate Spain said that'd be really interesting. So way to articulate.
I've had that idea for a few weeks, but I haven't really tried to craft an actual invasion. But
that's all you really need, because everything else kind of writes itself after a bit.
I don't think you do it at NXT TakeOver because you haven't really written any sort of anticipation for this, and the payoff wouldn't be as good. So if you're going to write something this big in, do it for something on television,
right,
on NXT, on USA. Give people a reason to watch.
Make it like the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania.
Kind of thing, yeah. You know, give them a reason to watch weekly as opposed to just when the TakeOver happens. 'Cause I used to be that guy. I only watched TakeOver. For a while, I didn't even watch TakeOver.
Colin says he's down for that as well.
Yeah. I know. I have good ideas sometimes.
Every now and then.
Okay. Tony Nese versus Isaiah Swerve Skeet.
Grudge match!
Scott's pissed. He comes out lit on fire. They battle it out. He's on top for a while, but he goes to throw Tony Nese into the steps after a minute, and Nese ain't having it. He fish hooks, legit fish hooks Scott. Throws him off, gets in the ring. By the time Scott gets back in the ring, he's done come off the ropes and hits him with this sick running back elbow. And I know I always say the back elbow is like a weak looking move. Well, this was like Bray Wyatt style, but across the face. Yeah, it was It was good enough for him to take over for the majority of the rest of the first half or so of the match, like that beginning part where there's not really anything going on. And then shit happens. What do you think about this match?
Well, that's actually pretty entertaining. You had like the differing styles, but at the same time, usually Scott's all flying all over the place and doing a bunch of crazy reversals. He just wanted to beat the hell out of Nice in this match. He wasn't going for anything smooth or fancy. He was just down and dirty.
Yeah, kinda. Although that's not really told in the way that he won the match, but I guess desperosity breeds, invention. In this case, for me, I like the little story here of Scott being pissed off at Nice for costing him the victory and possibly the chance to move on in the tournament because he was talking smack about Nice, who had 0 wins in the tournament.
And Gallagher.
Yeah. And so Nice comes out to the ring, and I'm sitting here like, dude, you need a win badly. I'm like, you are 3-0. And Jerry's like, oh, tournament's over. I'm like, yeah, but he has lost his last 3 matches on television. High-profile matches. And, so he needs the win. Scott needs the win. Because Scott had a win, and then he lost his opportunity. So this match all boils down to the end when Gallagher comes out, ostensibly to try and distract Swerve, but Swerve ends up turning it around. Like, he's up on the top turnbuckle, and Nice comes in, punches him in the head, and then grabs him up with what they called the sunset driver, and what you called
Jig and tonic.
Okay, so he goes for that, but he doesn't hit it. Instead, Swerve rolls him up out of it and gets the 1, 2, 3. Are there any cool moves in here?
Not really.
I don't know. Scott reversing a guillotine into a deadlift brain buster. That was cool. No, not really. He does get the spot where he throws Nice into the steps, so he gets his little revenge there. But Jack Gallagher gets pissed because he didn't cost him the win. Ends up chasing him off. And that's pretty much that.
All right, harken back for a second. Nate Spain says, I can see the Undisputed Era attacking Dream at some point in the match, and then Loomis shows up, illuminated by the car headlights and wiping out Strong Fish and O'Reilly. That would be pretty badass.
Maybe. I like your idea better, though, of him taking them out one-on-one during the night. That way we know by the end that the match is going to be one-on-one, no funny business.
Or you could just pop up at the end of, like, in the match anyway, because, like, maybe Adam Cole's trying to reach for the belt or cheat in some way.
I want to see, before we go to the main event, a picture of him actually driving a truck that actually has all 3 of them in the back actually tied up.
Anybody doesn't realize it, Sam Shaw actually did draw that shit. He's actually a very talented character artist, so...
Anyway, backstage we've got Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch getting shown getting ready for their match. They're having a triple threat tag match tonight. This is going to determine the number 1 contenders for the tag championships.
Held by Eichner and Bartel.
They are going to face Undisputed Era. In this case, again, Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong. We still don't have Kyle O'Reilly. And the third member of the match, or the third team, is Mystery Team. Now, before the match started, we actually had our guesses, but no, we go right into this match. What was your guess?
Well, like, it was already kind of what I thought was far-fetched, but then, like, I had already ruled out Indus-Sher because they're not really doing anything right now. It's like Ever-Rise, that's just wasn't going to happen. Like, it had to be somebody that was, like, marketable, or that would actually make the match look good, and sure enough, we got good-looking people for the match.
Yeah, his initial guess was spot on. He said, I don't know about the injury or not, and how quick. I said, are you thinking Fandango and Fabrizio? Fabrizio, there we go.
You mean Breezango?
Were you thinking about those 2 guys? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. And I was like, what about Ever-Rise? I was thinking maybe somebody from NXT UK, another team. But no, we get them as soon as the intro started, and we saw that it was some weird people posing on the stage right in the middle. the Moon Men this week, but yeah, Fandango and Tyler Breeze combined Fabrizio. This was a fun little match.
Colin was actually hoping for Grizzled Young Veterans. Those are two that even come to mind for me. And Nathan Bain said he popped for Breezango.
You know what? The fact that it wasn't the Grizzled Young Veterans when it clearly ought to have been the Grizzled Young Veterans leads me to believe that they don't want us to be thinking about NXT UK right now. Why?
No.
Grizzled Young Veterans, I believe, were in the States when all this happened.
Mm-hmm.
They've been on TV. Anyway, this match was fun. I saw Fandango hit a tornado DDT onto Strong using Bobby Fish to run off of, then rolls it back into a Falcon Arrow. That was superb.
I actually mentioned at that point that Johnny Curtis has always been one of my favorite wrestlers there. He just never got utilized well. I mean, think about it. Like, his first actual match in the company, he beat Jericho at fucking WrestleMania.
Well, let's see. Lorcan gets a hot tag, and he comes in on fire, hitting chops to everybody, running shit into the corner. At one point, he's running just an elbow into the corner, but I think Bobby Fish was in his way, and he just clotheslines him, turns him inside out, and finishes the move. Then hits a double blockbuster, but then he gets up and gets dropped over the top rope onto everyone except for Birch by Fandango, who goes off the ropes, and Birch helps him by backdropping Fandango onto everybody else except for Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Then they show Dexter Lumis at ringside. He's staring down the Undisputed Era, which distracts them. I think it was Birch gets in the ring, knocks somebody out, and then poor Bobby Fish takes the rest of this.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a beauty shot from Breeze, and then Fandango's already up top. He drops the leg. 1, 2, 3. What did he call it? That leg drop. The last dance.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Fabrizio is moving on to a tag team championship match. This brings out Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel, who are indeed the NXT Tag Team Champions.
Yes, they are.
But quite unexpectedly, also comes out, let me get these names right, Rinku and Saraf. They are the guys who Malcolm Bivens commands.
And Malcolm's in the middle.
Yep. He's there. They're staring down the champs. They didn't win a match to get a title opportunity. Why are they even there? They should have been in the match.
But this actually the end of this match kind of threw me because I'm at the beginning of the match, I'm already thinking Birch and Lorcan are going to win this, so they go against Eichner and Bartel. But now we're getting Breezango versus Eichner and Bartel, which kind of says to me that maybe they're actually setting up for Lorcan and Birch to actually win the belts.
Please no. Please no. Not off of Eichner and Bartel. Please no.
It's looking like a possibility.
Well, anyway, let's move on. Let's get a video
Colin
recap.
got my joke.
We get a video recap of Charlotte Flair pinning Io Shirai last week. That's because Charlotte Flair was tagging with Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green was so stoked that she got the win, even though she didn't get the pinfall, that she says she's at the top of her career now, and she's the best she's ever been, and for that reason she is firing Robert Stone, who doesn't get the joke at first, because it's not a joke. He ends up chasing her. This was like last week, though.
He's chasing that green, yo.
Meanwhile, we have a match. For no apparent reason, Aaliyah's coming out after that little, recap.
Oh, yeah, no foreshadowing whatsoever.
And she looks
amazing.
Delicious.
That's the best she's looked.
Yes, and then Santana Garrett comes out wearing orange, and she looks equally as delicious. Jesus Christ. I said, I am pre-interested in this match. And Jerry said, don't get too pre-interested.
I'm about to say, he's ready to pre-interest all over this match.
Somewhere halfway through this match, Robert Stone comes out. He looks disheveled.
That's the exact word I was going to use.
He looks like he hasn't had a shower in a few days. But
You're living in your car! You're living in your car!
He comes out to cheer on Aaliyah and tells her she has to win this match. And she bites. She's like, yeah, I have to win it. And right after, this exchange, she hits this wicked boot. Like, Santana's in the corner.
It almost looked like the sick kick.
She runs in and leaps up for a boot to the face, a hell of a kick, but follows through, and her leg goes over the top rope, and her bottom leg catches Santana in the stomach, in the midsection, in sort of this hook, using her foot and her ankle. And then she uses that opportunity to pose and taunt on the top rope, rolls her out, goes for a pinfall, only a near fall. I feel like that's the kind of move she could follow it up with something devastating and win the match. She did not, in fact, win the match. It gives her the ability to feel like she's going to win the match. Mm-hmm. So she starts taunting Santana and then slaps her. Slaps the Hulk out of her.
Santana looks pissed.
Yeah, she goes up to the middle rope and Santana smacks her in the face and then runs into a stratosphere. Off of the stratosphere, she runs off the ropes, does a handspring, lands the handspring, flips into a moonsault. 1, 2, 3, Santana Garrett gets the pinfall. And you want to talk about devastated. Robert Stone is fucking devastated.
His world is crumbling around him, and it's pretty great. I'm hoping he reverts to his Robbie E days. He just starts fist pumping everywhere.
Well, he looks completely dejected, and he wants nothing to do with Aaliyah because she is not a winner. Aaliyah looks sorry as crap, like, oh, I can do better. And I'm like, what is this? Why?
But
like,
do you think it's going to be one of those things where Chelsea Green goes up and loses her match or two, and then she tries to come back, calling back to Robert Stone?
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I feel like this not Chelsea Green. Aaliyah is the kind of guy that Robert Stone should probably try and recruit and try and make better. Turn her career around, give her a reason to pay you that 10% or whatever the fuck he makes.
And also, you have a whole crowd of people there right now for the Performance Center that he can pick from.
I'm thinking, dude, you need something to do because they're laying everybody off.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, prime target number 2. Charlotte Flair defending the NXT Women's Championship in a triple threat match against Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai. We get promos out of all of them. We start off with Io Shirai, and she's speaking in Japanese, which, thank God, we're not trying to, get through that dialect exchange of her speaking in English. They go ahead and give us subtitles. She's like in one of those isolation water... I don't know what you call them. That thing that Daredevil uses. But
sensory deprivation chamber.
And she's saying that both Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley should be afraid of her. They should legit be afraid of her.
And they should.
She is going to be the next NXT champion. She didn't even say women's champion. She says champion. Mm-hmm. Then they show Rhea Ripley waking up at 5:30 in the morning. She says she realizes she's not on the schedule. She wakes up that early because she just wants to be the best. She wants to get to the gym and do her thing because it makes her feel good and blah, blah, blah. And she reminisces about how 2019 became her greatest year, and by the end of it, she had accomplished the most she ever had. And then into 2020, and then WrestleMania, and it has all been downhill.
I was about to say, 2020 hasn't really been great for anybody. Nate Spain says, God, I hope Flair drops the belt.
She does say that if 2020 taught her anything, let's see, let me get this right. 2020 taught her not to care. She just wants to win now. Mm-hmm. Now we see Charlotte Flair. And she says to the camera, when the crowd chanted when she came back, that you don't go here. She said,
bitch, I made here.
Excuse me, I made here. So they show her, and they say she's, just trying to cement her legacy by saying she's still hungry and she can still come back and be on top no matter where. Because she started her career in NXT, and her class of NXT recruits are the ones that made NXT TakeOver and NXT TakeOver special to her. And it really felt genuine. Mm-hmm. And it's another reason I just hate this version of Charlotte Flair's character, because they're so unsure of whether she's a heel or a fucking face.
They're totally highlighting her.
It's frustrating, because this is totally like this. This is like the John Cena of females promo.
Well, Here's the thing also with this. It's the first time I've actually been legit excited for this match. Because I finally looked at the competitors and realized this is the perfect triple threat match. You have your brawler, that's Rhea Ripley. You have your technician, which is Charlotte Flair. And you have your high flyer, Io Shirai. It's going to be an awesome match.
You want legit excited? Cameron Grimes' music
Pops out nowhere.
It's grime time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And I'm like, are they going to feed him to somebody?
We went from prime to grime.
at the pay-per-view, or are they feeding somebody to him and we're going to see a real quick, insta-finisher match? Somewhere in between, Bronson Reed comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And
first time in a while.
He's a big stone bitch.
Yeah, he's thick.
He's thick. With a C instead of a K. An extra C. I never understood that. If you're going to change a word to make it easier, why would you change one letter to repeat a letter and make it look retarded as opposed to just making it T-H-I-C?
It's special.
Just get rid of the K. If you're going to make it easier, get rid of the K. 2 C's, it's like, what the fuck is that? Anyway. Personal opinion.
Social studies and science back in school is what that was.
Reed dominates this match. He hits a military press into a drop, right into a running senton. He hits something, lays up Cameron Grimes in the corner and hits that running hip attack into the corner.
The butt.
This drives Cameron Grimes outside. He runs out, gets him, throws him back in, goes up top. He goes for a diving splash and misses. And while he's getting up off of the diving splash, Cameron Grimes goes into the corner, runs into the insta-finisher. Cave in. He nails it with his knees instead of his feet.
I thought it still looked good.
Yeah. Looked like a finishing move.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, Cameron Grimes, another win. You know what? Why did he not win the breakout tournament?
Because they had Smiles Miles do it. We saw how well that turned out.
So he's celebrating and he says, that's how I beat Finn Balor, and that's how I'm going to beat everybody else. And he turns around and there's Karrion Kross for no reason. He's in the ring. I think Scarlett's outside the ring. Meanwhile, Grimes gets the fuck away from the ring. He runs away. Kross waits for thick boy Bronson Reed to get up. And he grabs him up and actually hits him with a backdrop driver, this big son of a bitch. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't lock in his cross jacket or nothing. He just grabs the camera and tells Ciampa into the camera, this Sunday, special TikTok. The way he talks seems a little special.
Yep. Here's the thing. Something else I want to go back to this real quick. The breakout tournament, we were just talking about that a second ago. Is Boa the only person that they're not using right now? Because he's in the crowd, but everybody else that we saw the breakout tournament is being used right now by NXT.
Didn't we see who's the one we keep missing? Crap. Boogs. Wasn't Boogs in the tournament?
Yeah, no, Boogs wasn't in the tournament. Boogs has only had his one match against Drew Gulak, and that was it.
Cool. Alright, well, yeah, you might be right. Meanwhile, let's see, we get a match announced here. We're almost to the main event, folks, but we got one more thing to cover, and that is the 6-woman tag match that I thought was going to get put onto this show is actually going to get put onto TakeOver. So, as far as we know, the tag team championship match that we predicted not only is not going to happen, but isn't even going to happen with the participants that we thought was going to happen. That they basically,
I'm guessing that's going to be the show after TakeOver. Is that going to be that match?
Yeah, they telegraphed Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Imperium. So that's probably why we're not getting it.
And we got swerved.
Mm-hmm. They skeeted on us.
Yep, all over us. It was sticky.
So we're going to get Tegan Knox,
Shotzi
Blackheart and Mia Yim versus Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. At the pay-per-view. Which is fine. I put it in the same order. I put it first. That way, if need be, it'll be the takeover or the kickoff show. That brings us to the main event. El Hijo del Fantasma versus Drake Maverick. This is for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. This is also
and
the
so
finals
much more
of the NXT Cruiserweight Interim Round Robin Championship Tournament for the title that was meant to be the co-companion to Jordan Devlin's actual NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Now is being replaced as the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and I am so pissed for Jordan Devlin.
Mm-hmm.
That is not funny. This match ended pretty much like how we figured.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think it was a little out of nowhere to call what we did, but other than actually hinting at the relationship, this match ended up pretty much how we figured. Before I break it down, because I got a bunch of notes, what were your thoughts on the main event, Jerry?
It was an intense match with a whole bunch of story behind it, which is always nice. But like, and the ending didn't really surprise me. The aftermatch kind of did a little bit, but that was for completely other reasons that I'll get into after you break it down.
See, Nate Spain says Joaquin Wilde. Haven't seen him since he got abducted. Calling the Cleaver said, "I am beyond pissed for Devlin." Yeah, word.
It's like we're the NXT parties, okay? Like that's our bread and butter, and Jordan Devlin, that's our boy.
So the tip of the hat was the very beginning of the match. Phantasma goes for a handshake, and Drake Maverick, of course, he's a babyface. He agrees, goes for a handshake. Mid-handshake, Phantasma goes for a roll-up and gets a near fall. That's such a heel thing to do, you think? Let's see. There was a spot in the match. It was early on because they were going for shit like, I don't know, arm drags and shit. Phantasma goes for a deep arm drag and straight up domes Drake Maverick. Like, drops him on the top of his head.
And puts him in the arm bar.
And then into an arm bar. Let's see. Maverick chases Phantasma outside, and right before the rampway, they're fighting, and Maverick ends up eating a sit-out powerbomb. And from this point forward, Phantasma starts working on his back. They get back in the ring, and he's like throwing him off the ropes and putting forearms into his back and shit.
He starts, like, Maverick actually ends up starting to scream at him, "Finish me, finish me."
I think he was saying, "I'm never going to quit," something like that. Meanwhile, or anyway, Phantasma hits another sit-out powerbomb in the ring, and he hits all of this one onto one shoulder, and then his shin of his right leg to the back of Drake Maverick's head. And he doesn't get a pinfall. He only gets a near fall. Maverick kicks out. Let's see. Maverick hits some offense, ends up going up top, hits a diving elbow, but Phantasma kicks out. Let's see. He picks him up and actually goes to unmask him, which I thought was a little out of character. But Phantasma grabs his face and drops him with a jawbreaker. And then he goes up top. But Maverick stops him. He hits him and he chases him up. And at this point, they both drop off of the middle rope. Maverick falls into the ring. Phantasma falls out of the ring. And while he's on the mat outside on the floor, he looks up, and here come the Lucha Nappers. Exactly what we figured was going to happen. They come out and cause...
Before they even get to him, though.
Yeah. Drake Maverick sees them coming for him and thinks, oh, well, I'm going to help him, I guess. I don't know. He comes off the ropes and does a tope suicida to both of them, and then takes them both out. He beats them both up. Gets back in the ring. Phantasma's already in the ring.
Eats a super kick.
Yep. He bites down hard on the bottom of Phantasma's foot. And then Phantasma follows it up with a Michinoku driver. 1, 2, 3. He is the new Cruiserweight champion. And he is super stoked. He doesn't seem to care at all about Drake Maverick. The only people that do is the entire audience. Everybody else in the arena.
And Beth Phoenix makes it known that she feels really, really bad for Drake Maverick like 15 times.
After Phantasma leaves, it sounds like there's a motorcycle in the arena because all of the Performance Center people are banging on that hockey glass. And Drake Maverick pulls the camera to him, and he thanks everybody in the audience, like all the supporters out there in the WWE universe. And he goes to leave, and he takes one last look from the rampway down to the ring, turns around, and there's Triple H. And in Triple H's arm is something that apparently Drake Maverick didn't see. I totally saw. He totally saw. And After a thank you or some shit, I don't know, Triple H hands him a contract. It's a leather-bound little chit.
He totally
with
Alexandered
NXT
him.
on it. Yeah, he totally Cedric Alexandered him.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't read the contract at all. He's just happy to still have a job. Dude, you're going to be working for 13 cents an hour. Why are you going to sign something sight unseen? You say thank you, you take it back, bring it to your lawyers. Anyway, he signs the contract, and we go off the air on a happy note.
Here's the thing.
It completely undermines all the other people that got fired by WWE and aren't getting their jobs back. I totally agree.
Well, also, Drake Maverick had just gotten done doing a promo for Impact Wrestling, like touting his return there.
Swerve?
Swerve. That's why I said we got Swerve.
Skeet, skeet, skeet. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the main event. And here on What's NXT, we like to rate the main event using the General's 5. Count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-star rating system. Jerry, out of 5 stars, where do you rate tonight's NXT Cruiserweight Championship Round Robin Tournament Final for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship? Tournament final.
I'm going to go ahead and give it 3 3/4. El Hijo del Fantasma, I'm not really seeing as being a great champion. Like, I was kind of let down by the finish because I wanted more of a resolve to the whole Lucha Nappers thing, but I guess they're going to push that for even further now. But Drake Maverick getting his job back, so to speak, that's interesting. But otherwise, the match, it was good for what it was. It was a great championship match. The crowd was eating it up. You know, they were probably scripted to do so. And I'm not going to give it the extra quarter off an awesome show because this was a great go-home show before TakeOver. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.
Words right out of my mouth. I was going to give it 3 3/4 because it was really, really good, but not great.
Mm-hmm.
And an extra quarter off of a great show. 4 stars solid for this main event. Much for the same reasons. I like the story going in. I like the story involved. You know what? I'm going to give it an extra quarter off of that fucking, the Lucha Nappers coming out and all of this coming. I mean, granted, it wasn't a surprise. We totally called it, and they didn't follow through with actually...
Give the extra quarter for just being right.
Well, they didn't follow through with Phantasma actually, corroborating with them or, like, actually proving that he has a relationship with them. But save that for another day. You didn't need that tonight. All you need was them costing Maverick the championship, and we'll move on from there.
All right, so the Cleaver gives it 3 3/4, but also gives it the extra quarter now for Drake saying, so that puts it at 4. Alistair has joined us, and also the Jeff Meacham Network is in there as well. Our last few minutes that we're going to be on the air.
We've hit like 9 in the chat room.
That's impressive.
I think 10 total if you don't include, I think I make 10. I don't think it tells me that I'm in there. Or maybe it does. I don't know how to do it. Anyway. Anything else?
That'd be it.
That brings us to the end of this episode of What's NXT. Thank you for joining us. Please join us tomorrow. We're going to be reviewing something, folks.
I may not. I may actually try to sleep because I got my kid tomorrow.
Please join us next week for What's NXT.
No.
Please join us Sunday night.
Yes, for TakeOver results.
Super late. We're going to do it live after the show as quickly as we can get set up after the show ends. I think we're going to try and do a live Skype session. Everybody chilling with each other on Skype while we watch the show. But that's NXT team stuff. If you'd like to be on the NXT team, you can get in on those. What do they call them? Watch party?
Yeah.
If you want to get in on the NXT TakeOver in your house watch party, all you got to do is join the NXT team. All you got to do there is be on a video.
Mm-hmm.
Or promise to be on a video. Pinky swear, and we'll put you on the watch party. Anyway, if you'd like to be on a future video up on the big screen, help us review something, or talk about the week. We do that occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to look me up, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted, Something like that. Fuck Bomb. You can also find the Gentleman on Cunt Bomb Twitter.
At Gerald_JSJ, my Facebook group Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR,
BAR exclamation point.
You nailed it that time. Way to go. We also have the Aftermatch Wrestling group on Facebook and Aftermatch
Aftermatch_wrestling on Instagram and Aftermatch Rest on Twitter, where we take the ling out of wrestling.
Whatever the fuck that means.
I'm also on Instagram at osborne.stefan. He's on Instagram at
the_gentleman_slaughter.
And you can help support the channel at Stefan R. Osborne on Patreon, or if you just have a moment or two or several, if you've made it this far, maybe you're just bored enough to click that remote or tap your screen. There's a like button over here. If you like this show, please click it. If you enjoyed yourself, if we entertained you, click the like button.
Even if you didn't, just click like anyway.
Well, if you didn't like the show, like if we made you gag, there is a dislike button, and we encourage you to use it. And we also encourage you to leave in the comments why it made you gag. Constructive criticism is always welcomed here.
Consummate professionals, that's what we are.
So you do that. Now, if you click the like button, and you also like all of our other shows, you should click the subscribe button. That's over there. Point to it, Jerry. It's under his chin. There we go. Down there. Oh, wait. Yeah, subscribe. That'll tell you when all our shows go up. And if you want to catch us live when we go on in the mornings, there's a bell icon next to it. That'll tell your phone to tell you that we are going live. And you can join us in the chat room if you'd like. Beyond that, if you'd like to help our channel grow, that's the big thing. We are at 182 now. We are so close to 200.
18 more, we're almost at 200, which is still about 800 less than the holiday. But whatever.
I think it's way more than that.
Well, yeah.
But if you'd like to help us grow, click that share button. It's somewhere over here. All of these directions are usually for phones. If you're doing this on a TV, I know you can't share, but you can like and you can subscribe.
Start putting letters together, letters form into words. You'll get the idea.
But if you share us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or somewhere, and you have friends that like to watch wrestling, especially NXT, they might like to watch us. And then there we go. We got new fans.
That's how things start, you know?
Bigger channel.
Yeah.
And then if we had a bigger channel, we would come to you with more content. We do this more often. But as it stands, we do it for free. So twice, sometimes 3 times a week, it's plenty. But anyway, it's enough rambling. Any questions? Jeff says, sorry I missed and didn't plug. Long night. Cleaver says, we will see you for the review, folks. I believe Colin the Cleaver Andrew will be joining us.
Yes, he will be. He'll be watching. He'll be watching it with us, and he'll be watching it with us, and also reviewing it. So,
if you'd like to get in on the watch party and/or get in on the review, we'd love to put you up on the big screen.
Let us know.
Normally, when it's your first time, it'd be by yourself. But if it's an NXT TakeOver, we'll put you up there with Colin and anybody else that we get. But if you'd like to do that, leave a comment down below with your email address or phone number or...
Yeah, you have to have Skype.
Yeah, you gotta have Skype and watch the show and shit, but like, for us to get a hold of you, sometimes you don't have social media or something. Chris Mace gave us an email address. Now look at him. He was on our show, made his own channel. Now he has got like 1,000 subscribers. Maybe more. Maybe like 2. Like, he's getting up there. Poor guy. Go help Chris Mace. There's a GoFundMe somewhere. His whole house burned down. He lost everything. Like, go help the guy.
Yeah.
If you can. Meanwhile, for the General Jerry Slaughter, I'm the Wizard of No DQ, Stefan Osborne. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in NXT time.